A serial killer threatened to slaughter anyone who was not playing jazz music in their home. In 1919, New Orleans was held hostage by an executioner who was never identified or caught. He walked through locked doors, leaving a bloody trail that baffled the nation's finest detectives. Was he a demonic music lover, a cold-blooded extortionist, or a phantom beyond human control? Our true crime story begins in May 1918 inside the quiet home of an Italian grocer. Joseph Maggio and his wife lay sleeping when an unknown shadow slipped inside without a sound. The intruder used an axe found on the property to carry out a swift, devastating attack. Before vanishing, the killer left the blood-stained weapon resting directly on the rear porch steps. Responding officers discovered a gouged wooden panel on the back door. A terrifying operational trademark. Nothing of monetary value was taken from the home, ruling out routine robbery as a motive. 1 month later, a second Italian grocer, Louis Basumer, was targeted in the exact same manner. Panic surged through the city as rumors spread of an anti-Italian serial killer operating in secret. Detective Mooney launched an aggressive citywide investigation, but found zero physical clues or leads. The executioner struck again in August, attacking Mrs. Edward Schneider inside her dark bedroom. She survived the horrific assault, describing a tall, broad-shouldered man wearing a dark slouch cap. 5 days later, the Phantom claimed another victim, Joseph Romano, who died from severe head trauma. Fear paralyzed New Orleans as citizens realized doors and locks offered zero protection against his entry. Families began taking turns, staying awake all night, armed with shotguns to protect their sleeping children. The killer abruptly vanished during the winter of 1918, leaving investigators to search cold archives. Then, on March 10th, 1919, the terror returned with a brutal attack in Gretna, Louisiana. Joseph Cortimiglia and his wife Rosie were severely wounded inside their quiet corner home. 3 days later, a mysterious letter arrived at the offices of the Times-Picayune newspaper. The letter claimed to be written by the Axeman himself, issued directly from hell. He declared that he was fond of jazz music and spared those who played it in their homes. He announced his next attack for the following Tuesday night at precisely 15 minutes past midnight. He warned that every house where a jazz band was playing would be spared from his axe. On the night of March 19th, New Orleans witnessed the most extraordinary evening in its history. Every dance hall, club, and parlor blared jazz music at maximum volume to ward off the killer. Professional bands and amateur players filled the night air with roaring, syncopated rhythms until dawn. Homeowners who lacked instruments cranked their phonographs, playing jazz records on continuous loops. Not a single person was attacked that night as jazz echoed across every street in the city. Composer Joseph de Villa wrote a popular song titled The Axeman's Jazz, which became an instant sensation. But the eerie reprieve was short-lived, as the Phantom resumed his lethal spree months later. In August 1919, grocer Steve Franco was attacked inside his bedroom, his door panel chiseled away. In September, Sarah Lauman was struck while sleeping alone inside her small corner residence. The final documented attack occurred in October 1919 against grocer Mike Pepitone in his home. His wife rushed to the bedroom, spotting a tall, dark figure fleeing into the midnight shadows. After the Pepitone murder, the Axeman vanished completely, ending his reign of terror forever. Detectives were left with 12 brutal attacks, zero solid physical evidence, and a terrified city. Let us examine the primary suspect theories that researchers have debated for over a century. The primary suspect profile centered on a local Italian man named Joseph Mumfrey. Mumfrey was alleged to be a high-ranking enforcer for the mafia's Black Hand extortion ring. Black Hand operatives routinely demanded protection money from newly arrived Italian grocers in New Orleans. Grocers who refused to pay often suffered sudden, violent attacks against their homes and businesses. Prison records revealed Mumfrey was incarcerated during periods when the Axeman attacks ceased entirely. In December 1920, Mumfrey was shot and killed in Los Angeles by Mike Pepitone's widow. Esther Pepitone claimed Mumfrey was the exact man she saw fleeing her home on the night of the murder. However, police never uncovered official documentary proof connecting Mumfrey to the specific New Orleans attacks. Modern crime historians argue that Mumfre may have been a convenient scapegoat for a complex saga. A second compelling theory suggests the killer was a solitary sadist unaffiliated with organized crime. Profilers point out that organized hitmen rarely utilize axes found on site or leave theatrical letters. The choice of weapon and signature entry method suggest a patient, calculating, deeply disturbed mind. Why did the killer display such a specific obsession with Italian grocers across New Orleans? Some psychologists argue he harbored personal resentment against the thriving Italian merchant community. Others believe he selected Italian homes because many were built with light, easily chiseled wooden doors. The infamous jazz letter remains one of the most studied documents in American true crime history. Graphologists who analyzed the handwriting noted a sophisticated, educated script style filled with dark humor. The author claimed to be a spirit from the netherworld who enjoyed the rhythmic beauty of jazz. Was the letter authentic, or a brilliant hoax written by a clever local journalist or prankster? Regardless of its origin, the letter successfully transformed a local serial killer into a global legend. Let us look deeper into the physical evidence items preserved inside precinct archives today. Investigators retained several chiseled door panels, hoping to extract biological or tool mark clues. Microscopic tool mark analysis confirmed the killer used a unique, wide-bladed wood chisel. The precision cuts indicate an individual with professional carpentry or construction training. This mechanical skill allowed him to remove door panels without making a single sound. He moved through homes with absolute familiarity, striking victims while they slept soundly. Why did he leave the murder weapons at the crime scenes after every single attack? Criminologists suggest it was an arrogant display of confidence, mocking police efforts to trace tools. By using weapons found on the victim's properties, he carried zero incriminating evidence between sites. This brilliant tactical choice prevented law enforcement from connecting him to physical hardware sales. The investigation was further complicated by widespread prejudice against Italian immigrants in 1919. Local authorities initially dismissed the early attacks as internal Black Hand extortion feuds. This institutional bias delayed the recognition of a serial killer by several crucial months. By the time detectives realized a single predator was responsible, the trail had grown cold. The cultural legacy of the Axeman profoundly shaped the musical identity of New Orleans. Jazz music, once viewed with skepticism by traditionalists, became celebrated as a protective shield. The night of March 19, 1919, cemented jazz as the beating heart of the city. Historians view the event as a rare moment when an entire metropolis united through music. But behind the joyful rhythms lay the dark memory of 12 innocent lives destroyed. The names of the victims remain etched into the dark folklore of the Crescent City. Modern cold case units periodically re-examine the surviving files for overlooked tracking keys. They utilize computer modeling to map the attack locations against 1910's transit routes. The geographic spatial pattern indicates the killer likely resided near the mid-city neighborhood. He operated within a comfortable 2-mile radius of the streetcar line grid system. This proximity allowed him to slip onto public transit immediately after completing his attacks. Yet, despite advanced behavioral profiling, his true identity remains an absolute mystery. Was he a local citizen living a double life, or a transient killer moving by rail? The passage of time has erased all living witnesses and physical crime scene locations. Today, modern storefronts stand over the ground where the historic market murders occurred. But tour guides still walk visitors down dark alleyways, recounting the story of the Jazz Phantom. The story serves as a chilling reminder of the limits of historic police detection methods. A single individual terrorized an entire American metropolis and vanished without a trace. He achieved the perfect escape, taking his identity and motives to his grave. The secrets of 1919 remain locked safely inside the vault of history forevermore. The dark legend continues to inspire books, films, and songs across global true crime circles. It stands as one of America's most unique, theatrical, and terrifying unsolved mysteries. Let us look at the financial impact of the panic on the New Orleans economy. Market owners spent thousands on private night guards, reinforcing doors with iron bars. Property values near attack sites plummeted as residents fled to safer suburban areas. The city council faced immense public outrage over the failure to secure an immediate arrest. This political pressure led to controversial arrests of innocent suspects who were later released. It was a desperate era for a police force overwhelmed by a phantom killer. The historical consequences permanently altered the architectural security of New Orleans homes. Solid metal doors replaced light, wooden panels across markets and homes citywide. The memory of the terror was buried deep beneath layers of modern urban development. Only the faded police ledger sheets remain to record the details of the attacks. They sit quietly inside dark filing drawers, an open wound in American history logs. The faceless Axeman has secured his place among history's most terrifying entities. True crime researchers will continue to analyze every shred of surviving evidence for keys. They re-examine the letter script, hoping to find a hidden identity code or location clue. Every document is analyzed, from the chemical footprints to the unique chisel cuts. But after more than a century, the trail has gone completely, totally cold. The ultimate truth remains locked safely away inside the silent graves of history. Real monsters walk among us in plain sight, waiting for the perfect midnight opportunity. The terrifying mystery of the Axeman of New Orleans will haunt generations to come. What do you believe happened to the Axeman of New Orleans? Leave a comment below. If this historical investigative journey kept you on the edge, please hit the like button. Make sure to subscribe to the channel to unlock more unsealed cold case archives. Every single view helps us bring these forgotten victim stories back into the light. Thank you for watching our true crime presentation. Stay vigilant, and goodbye for now.